Greetings, fellow YouTuber. My name is Tim. Greetings, fellow YouTuber. My name is Tim. Welcome once again to that great big pile of dung heap that we like to call GainerWorld Live. My name is Tim, and if this is the first time that you've been watching this show, I'm so terribly sorry. I'll just say that right now in advance because, anyway, not a whole lot of anything is going to happen for the next hour of your life, to be really honest with you. What we do basically is we get together, as you can see right here, or maybe over there, but you don't have to go over there. We bring the chat to you. It's all right here. It's right here. It's right there. We get together and we chat with each other, and we talk about things that are going on and other various little fun things like that. In fact, if you look closely, you see my occasional guest DJ, my occasional guest co-host. Wow, can you tell what kind of a day it's been for me? Chris King is in there, and already he's saying Cosmic Slop. Okay. Always did like that song, to be honest with you. But, I see you have the chat fixed. Yes, the chat is fixed. What do you think of it? Let me know what you think. We had a little bit of a technical glitch a couple of weeks ago, but we kind of put a Band-Aid on it, and if it's working, let us know. If not, leave comments or, talk to us in the chat. Doesn't matter. We want you to be in the chat. We really do. We enjoy stalkers. I'm not kidding about that. And, in fact, you'll find out in a few minutes exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, as I said, this is what we do every week. We get together and we just kind of trade stories among ourselves, things that we find interesting, and we hope that you do too. And if you do, comment, or if you're watching the replay, you can comment in the comments down below. We will get back to you, I promise. We will actually, we'll answer that. So, yeah, there's all kinds of things going on. Now, talk about stalkers. And I thought about this. I didn't know if I was going to start the show with this. But, yeah, I've decided that I'm going to. Everybody seems to be getting... it must be the season because it's summertime. I don't know. It's getting on summertime or spring or whatever the case may be. But I'm starting to get the text messages again. And by the text messages, I'm meaning the scam calls. But the scammers, it's the typical thing. They leave you a text message. In this case, somebody, and I want to see what the entire support team, I want to see this whole thing. Hold on just a second here. This just came in the other day. Came in from 01881 support team. So obviously it's got to be right. It's got to be a number I can trust, right? A charge for $1,018.49 for an Apple MacBook Pro will be debited. Reach us at this number. Now, what do you think I'm going to do in a situation like this? Let's see what the number says, shall we? We're going to dial it up here, and let's see what happens. Hold on a second. It helps if I turn the volume up. It's calling. Number not valid. Wonder how that could be. So, Yeah. So we'll just get rid of that one. One of these days, we are going to get a scammer on the phone. And when we do, it's comedy gold. I'm just here to tell you. Comedy gold. Then there was the one that I got today from, what is this here? Here's the information. 178407 at First Horizon text.mchsi.com, telling me that I've been charged for Amazon Prime. $317, as a matter of fact, for Amazon Prime. And they say reach us for further details at this particular number. Should we reach them? Yeah, let's reach them. Let's see what happens. Sounds like fun. Let's see what happens. Ooh, they seem to have hung up. Let's see what happens. Let's try that again. Maybe it's too early in the day. What is it right? What is it right now? About 15 hours to India. One more time, just to be on the safe side. Let's see what happens. Hello? 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 Is this Amazon? Hello? Hey, I want to talk to somebody about my Amazon. Hello? Hello? Was it too early? I'll call back when you care. Okay, so at least somebody answered, which I find funny. Chris is saying if you're a city card holder and there is one seat left center section first row for $68. Okay, that's good to know. Glad to hear that. Leave the calling to scammers like scammer payback. Yeah, I know. Yeah, believe me, I'm nowhere near Pierogi or Scammer Revolts or any of them guys. But when I get them, I just, I like messing with them. I can't help it. I really do. I used to get emails all the time. I'm sure you've gotten them as well from all of the people that, on the Ivory Coast that how their brothers / fathers / husband / uncle / grandfather used to be a general / lieutenant / major in the war that's going on the Ivory Coast, the one that never happened. But they used to be president of a bank, and they were able, before they were, drafted into the Ivory Coast Army, that they could put away X millions amounts of dollars. And all I had to do was, write them back and give them my bank information, and I could get a cut of it. What could possibly go wrong? I used to answer those. We'll get into that on another day. Amity City Games has popped in this evening, saying that all my available funds are tied up for ACEN next weekend. ACEN next weekend. He's a modern major general. Okay, and there was something before that seating info. Culture Club Howard Jones in Berlin. Whoa, that's a heck of a show. That's not a bad show. I would go to see that. I've always been In concert in Oh, really? Ooh. If you're a city card holder, there's one seat left. There's one seat, left center section, first row, $68, August 3rd in Tinley. Ooh, that sounds like fun. I'll have to look into that. But we'll do that as soon as we get done with all of this. I would go to see that, says Noreen Henry. Hello, Noreen. Always good to see you. I wouldn't mind going to see that. But unfortunately, we're working here. So, let me just go ahead and do this. We'll start off as we've always started. Let's get into this week's Deadpool report. Yeah, it's about that time again, boys and girls. This has nothing to do really with, this week, unfortunately, has nothing really to do with music or anything like that. But I wanted to include this simply because I know that this person's passing did have an effect on a lot of people. I'll put it this way. Back in the day when I had a real job, pardon me. Back in the day when I had a real job, one of the jobs that I had was working at the old Sears Tower, Nee Willis Tower. It will never be the Willis Tower in my eyes. It will always be the Sears Tower. Live with it. But I had a job there, and for lunch, people would always go to this one particular bar on Jackson that they had to go to because these people had to watch their daily episode of General Hospital. Now, growing up the way that I did, I can honestly say that I understand this. I'm not a big fan of soap operas, but I do understand the social significance behind them. In fact, my assistant refuses to do anything between the hours of 2 and 3 o'clock weekdays Central Time because of General Hospital. And God have mercy on your soul if you interrupt that, even though there are such things as DVRs. And I've known that there are nights that she has stayed up until 2 o'clock in the morning just to watch General Hospital. That being said, I know that it caught a lot of people off guard when they found out today, according to the Hollywood Reporter, that Jacqueline Zeman, who was known for playing Bobby Spencer on the show, died. Late Wednesday evening into yesterday at the age of 70. Jackie was one of the real veterans, not just of the show, but of show business in general. But be that as it may, General Hospital executive producer Frank Valentini, according to the Hollywood Reporter, confirmed her death on social media late Wednesday night, saying, "On behalf of our entire General Hospital family, I'm heartbroken to announce the passing of our beloved Jackie Zeman. Just like her character, the legendary Bobby Spencer, she was a bright light and a true professional that brought so much positive energy with her to work." They had said originally that there was no cause of death, but her family did put out a statement today saying that she had died after a brief bout with cancer. A statement was posted to the official GH Twitter account saying, quote, Jacqueline Zeman has been a beloved member of the General Hospital and ABC family since she originated the iconic role of Bobby Spencer over 45 years ago. That's how long she's been on the show. So that's what I mean by a veteran. And again, I understand that longevity. It's a blessing. And the fact that she was as popular as she was with the audience, it was equally a blessing. She leaves behind, continuing the quote here from General Hospital, she leaves behind a lasting legacy for her Emmy-nominated portrayal of the bad girl turned heroine and will always be remembered. We are devastated by the news of her passing and send our deepest condolences to Jackie's family, friends, and loved ones. She played in over, and again, I understand this because I watched what my mom and all her friends went through. 800 episodes of General Hospital. That ain't hay, kids. I'm here to tell you, it's good work if you can find it. It's 45 years she was on the show. Her first stint playing Bobby lasted from 1977 to 2010. And then she took a break, a 3-year break, when Jill Farron Phelps came on as a producer and just kind of like let the role go. And at which point she came back in 2013 until present day. As you can tell, as you can imagine, a lot of the General Hospital, or GH, if you're in the know, the alums are speaking out. One of them, okay, if you're a General Hospital fan, get ready for your nostalgia trip. One of them being from Anthony Geary. Yeah, remember back in the days of Luke and Laura? He kind of put out a statement, according to TV Line, to remember her. An exclusive statement to TV Line, as a matter of fact. He said, and this is a quote from Anthony Geary, "For 40 years, I was fortunate enough to play Jackie Zeman's big brother on General Hospital. In all those years, I'd never heard her utter one disparaging word about any actor, crew member, or coworker. In fact, I never heard Jackie express an unkind word about anyone ever. In a highly competitive profession where ego, feelings, and emotions are bread and butter, I found this quality to be extremely rare. I expect it will be even more rare now that our dear Jackie is gone. She is quite simply one of the kindest, sweetest people I've ever known. I'll miss her laugh, her deep, soulful look in her eyes whenever she expressed the love and pride she had in her 2 lovely daughters. Tonight, I already miss her and feel a powerful ache where Jackie's smile used to be." Along with that is a statement from another one of her co-stars, Laura Wright, rather. I'm sorry. Laura Ingraham. Yeah, okay. Laura Wright, she said on Instagram, "I'm struggling to wrap my head around this. I'm so grateful to have shared so many years with this beautiful woman. Jackie told me the best stories, had an incredible spirit, and lived such an amazing life. She loved working on GH. She adored her daughters and lit up when talking about her grandchildren. She's saying she'll be missed is an understatement. Thank you, Jackie, for sharing your heart and soul with us. Much love to her daughters, Cassidy and Lacey." Now, on top of everything else, one of the things, too, that a lot of people don't know is that she had done other work as well that she was quite well known for, as a matter of fact. She also starred in The Bay, which was a streaming soap opera between 2010 and 2023. She was in episodes of Chicago Hope, Mike Hammer, Love American Style, Fantasy, Sledgehammer. She was in a couple of feature films, like Young Doctors in Love, and one that I totally forgot about, which was National Lampoon's Class Reunion, which was not one of their better ones, but it was still pretty good. She earned a total of 5 Daytime Emmy Award nominations, 4 of which were for playing Bobby Spencer, including one for Outstanding Lead Actress in 1998. So, yeah, big loss for the folks at General Hospital. Jacqueline Zeman, Bobby Spencer. No, it is not a storyline. Bobby is gone. And what will tomorrow bring? Stay tuned. Nah, that's not nice. I shouldn't say it. Let's get out of here. Yeah. Like I said, I've never been a fan of soap operas, but I understand the the social significance behind them, the cultural significance, if anything else. So there's that. This, I'm quite interested in this next story. Amy City said, "I was always partial to all my children." Yeah, that was the big thing, though. That was always the big thing. Was, I would go into the bars, and all of these people would be sitting, at the bar, at the tables, all craned up at the monitors so they could watch all my children in General Hospital. And trust me, it was, there was no jukebox. Those monitors were blaring. People went in there for one particular reason, which I found really kind of interesting. Speaking of interesting, last week we talked about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I have a correction on myself to make and an apology. I said that Dolly Parton had turned down the nomination and subsequent induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Turns out that she actually showed up to the induction, which I did not know, and I apologize for the misinformation on. But in researching, I found out that one of the things that she said, and one of the things that she did, she got up and performed. Dolly Parton got up and performed at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And one of the things that she said was, before that, one of the things that she said was, one of these days, I'll make a great rock and roll album. And she also said, if I'm going to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I'm going to have to earn it. And she said, maybe one day I'll make a great rock record. Well, sure. Rockstar. The new album from Dolly Parton. The new rock and roll record from country's darling rock and roll queen, Dolly Parton, will drop November 17th in a variety of formats, in all the formats. It's going to be a 4 LP or 2 CD set, also digital download, all the streaming services and all that good stuff. It's going to be, it's her first rock and roll album. And, yeah, it's in a variety of, covers, which, first off, is loads of fun when you consider that, come on, it's Dolly Parton. Okay, she's a national treasure to begin with. And when she was younger, I'm not going to lie, she was fun to look at. But according to Billboard, I was talking, okay, let me just preface all this by saying I was talking to one of our correspondents and a friend last night about this. And I said, one of the things that I said was, this album is going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be a really good rock and roll record, or it's going to end up like, if anybody remembers it, Pat Boone's Metal album. We all remember what a train wreck that was. I personally am looking forward to this because it appears that Dolly has really taken this project very, very seriously. And she has brought along the star power and the music. We've got the track listing here. But the star power that she has got, it's, and Chris is saying in the chat, that's the way everything is. Either it's good or it isn't. Yeah, but no, this, things are good or they're kind of good or they're not so good. You know how it is. But she brought along some star power on this. Dig this lineup that's going to be on this album with her. There are collaborations like John Fogerty, Joan Jett, Steven Tyler, Peter Frampton, Kid Rock, Lizzo, Sting, Chris Stapleton, Debbie Harry, Elton John, and if that's not enough for you, how about if we get Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr back together and have them play on a track too? Noreen is saying Dolly is way cooler than Pat Boone and far more talented. Yeah, true on both cases. I ain't going to lie to you on that one. She premiered the new single that's off of this. It dropped yesterday, as a matter of fact. It's a track called "World on Fire," and she performed it at the ACMs live last night. She was great, but you've never seen a backing band look so uncomfortable in your life. You got a bunch of shit kickers going, Dolly, I don't know about that. Can we just do "Here You Come Again" and just kind of be done with it? Can we do that, please? Now, this is the track listing. Well, first off, let me do this. She said in a statement, and this is a quote from Dolly now. "I'm so excited to finally present my first rock and roll album, Rockstar." Now, you know I'm tempted to do this in a Dolly voice, but I'm just not going to do it. "I'm very honored and privileged to have worked with some of the greatest iconic singers and musicians of all time, and to be able to sing all the iconic songs throughout the album was a joy beyond measure. I hope everybody enjoys the album as much as I enjoyed putting it together." The new track, like I said, is a self-penned track that is on the album. It's a track called "World on Fire" that she wrote herself. And I listened to it, and I got to tell you, it's pretty good. It's not great, but it's pretty good. Not going to lie. It's not really rock. It is, but it's more pop rock than anything else, which she's to be forgiven for because, well, let's face it, it's Dolly Parton. Okay? Aside from the fact that she's one hell of a writer, and I dare anybody to dispute that, the lyrics are really great. The lyrics are really great, and she does lay it on the line on this track. And I invite you to go out and listen to it because it is, like I said, it's a pretty good record. But let's talk about the rest of the album. Let's talk about the rest of this album. Now, I want you. This is the track listing. Okay, there are there's something like it's a 30 track. It's a 30 track album. 21 covers. And 9 originals. This is the track listing. It starts off with an original track, Rockstar, who, by the way, the guitar on this is by Richie Sambora. Then you've got the single, "World on Fire." Then you've got a cover of "Every Breath You Take" with Sting, followed by a cover of "Open Arms," which features Steve Perry, a cover of "Magic Man," which features Ann Wilson with special guest Howard Leese. She goes then into "Long as I Can See the Light" with John Fogerty. There's another original track, "Either Or," featuring Kid Rock. She then goes into, wait, it gets better. I'm telling y'all, it gets better. She does A cover of I Want You Back. Yes, the J5 single with Steven Tyler and Warren Hayes. There's then an original song that she co-penned with Stevie Nicks. Yes, Stevie is singing on it, and special guest Waddy Wachtel on guitar. It's a track called What Has Rock and Roll Ever Done For You? She then goes into a cover of Purple Rain. She covers Baby I Love Your Way. Peter Frampton helps out. And then Dolly gets down and dirty. She does a cover of I Hate Myself for Loving You featuring Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. I told you this is, you want to talk about an A-list of people to help her out with this album. When Dolly calls, people listen. There's a cover on this of Night Moves with Chris Stapleton. She's working with her goddaughter, Miley Cyrus. They do a cover of Wrecking Ball, which has got a couple of visuals in there that I don't want to go into. She does the Stones' Can't Get No Satisfaction with Pink and Brandi Carlile. She covers REO's Keep On Loving You with Kevin Cronin. Heart of Glass with Debbie Harry. Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me with Elton John. Another original, Tried to Rock and Roll Me, that she co-wrote with Melissa Etheridge. This is one of the ones that scare me. This is one of the tracks that scares me. There's certain things that you just leave alone. This is one of them. Don't know if this is going to work. But she does a cover of Stairway to Heaven with Lizzo and Sasha Flute. She then does We Are the Champions, followed by an original, Bygones. Now get ready for this one. Get ready for this one. On this track, Bygones, which she does with Rob Halford and special guests Nikki Sixx and John 5. Lordy, 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 Dolly. Wouldn't you love to have been a fly on the wall in that session? There's another original, My Blue Tears with Simon Le Bon. What's Up featuring Linda Perry. Boy, this is one of those times you really wish Linda Ronstadt was still around. She does a remake of You're No Good with Emmylou Harris and Sheryl Crow. She also does a cover of Heartbreaker. No, not the Stones single. No, not the Grand Funk song. The one, Heartbreaker, Pat Benatar's Heartbreaker. By the way, she's also joined by Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo. There's one more original that I think she co-wrote with him, Bittersweet, featuring Michael McDonald. I don't know if that's the same Bittersweet as Big Head Time of the Monsters. I kind of doubt it, but I think that's an original. I have to look that up. There's another original here called I Dreamed About Elvis that features Ronnie McDowell and special guests the Jordanaires. Yeah, big name stuff. Oh, wait, there's more. You think that's big name stuff? How about a cover of Let It Be that features Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, Peter Frampton, and Mick Fleetwood? Dolly calls Paul and says, I'm going to cover Let It Be. Paul says, okay. Like I said, when Dolly talks, people listen. And then there's the last song on the album, and again, I'm a little worried about this one. But when I look at who's joining her on it, it may turn out to, they may be able to salvage it. She does a cover of Freebird, which in itself I find amusing as hell. For two reasons. Number one, Dolly singing Freebird. And number two, you can tell everybody if she does go on tour with this, everybody's screaming Freebird. So she does Freebird. But on this track, get ready for this now. She is joined by Artemis Pyle, the original drummer for Skynyrd, with the Artemis Pyle Band, with special guest, the late Gary Rossington. This is like the last session that he did before he died a couple of months ago. And vocal samplings from the late Ronnie Van Zant. Come on, Dolly. Like I said, this is going to be one of those albums that is either going to be one of the... I mean, it's a gusty attempt, okay? I got to say it, because there are very few things that I like about country music, but I do hail the pioneers, and Dolly Parton is one of the pioneers. And for her to step out of her comfort zone like this, to me, is just something. I invite stuff like this, okay? Yeah, it's going to be something. It's going to be something. And, you know, I'm rooting for her on this one. I really am. I'm rooting for her. And I really hope that it works. If World on Fire, the new single that's out now, is any indication of it, it could be pretty good. If she's got the backup that she's got on this album, it could be more than pretty good. It could be really great. But there you have it. It drops November 17th, Butterfly Records. You can pre-order it now through all the usual services and on her website. It's a 4-album, 2 CD set, also digital download, and all the streaming services and things like that. So yeah, rock on, Dolly. That's all I gotta say to that. Rock on. Check out the Toad Board real fast. Amy City saying, when does she do a cover of Atomic Dog with George Clinton and Bootsy Collins? Oh, Matt Houtsma coming in. Matt, how's it going, buddy? Always good to see you again. I appreciate you popping by. Considering I know where you're at. If I'm not mistaken, it's like 2-3 in the morning. So, yeah. Like I said, I really hope that everything's beautiful. Ray Stevens. Ray Stevens, man, 1971. It's 2:37. Okay, so yeah, it's 8 hours ahead. Bro, I know you got a couple of Tecates under your belt. And that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Speaking of new albums, this came out today. This news came out today, and this is another one I'm pretty excited for. It looks like this summer may be a good summer for albums. Insomnia, actually. Okay, I see. So you're watching the show so you can go to sleep. I get it. Yeah, that's funny, man. This looks like it's going to be good summer for albums. You might remember a few months ago when we talked last summer, as a matter of fact, when we talked about the Newport Folk Festival. And during that festival, somehow, someway, mystically, magically, out of the clear blue sky comes Joni Mitchell, who did an entire set. It was a thing called the Joni Jam. It started out to be a tribute to her, but Joni got up and she blew the doors off the place, which a lot of people went, God, I wish I could have seen that. I wish I could have been there for that. Well, sir, there's a lot of those tonight. That set, according to Variety, which was augmented by an all-star cast, is being released as a live album in July. Joni Mitchell at Newport was produced by Joni Mitchell and Brandi Carlile. It's going to be released by Rhino Records on July 28th. 4 days after the 1-year anniversary of the show at the Rhode Island Festival. The stars who shared the lead vocals and instrumentals with Carlisle and the Joni Jam include Carlisle herself, Marcus Mumford, Dawes' Taylor Goldsmith, Lucius, Celise, and Winona Judd. Other players include, according to Variety, Phil and Tim Hainzeroth, Allison Russell, and Blake Mills. Cameron Crowe, I guess one of her besties, is writing the notes for it, as he has for Mitchell's recent collections of unreleased material. There's going to be a single of it that was released today, as a matter of fact. Her live version of Both Sides Now. That's on all the major streaming platforms if you want to check that out. The full release of the album is going to be 2 black albums. If you buy it at Barnes and Noble, you can get it on clear vinyl if you're a vinyl nut like I am. And she did. All I have heard, I haven't watched the entire set. I haven't had a chance to, and I don't think there's any video of it that's publicly available. But she did all of her stuff. She did Big Yellow Taxi, Both Sides Now, Just Like This Train, Carrie, Help Me, Coming from the Cold, and she ended up the set with Circle Game. So I mean, this is a pretty impressive set to begin with. And the fact that she was still in great form does wonders. So yeah, I'm looking for another one that I'm looking forward to. July 28th, Rhino Records, Joni Mitchell at Newport. Going to be a pretty good summer for music, if you're asking me. Sounds like a plan. Yeah. I know you're worried about Jamie Foxx. I can see it in your eyes. I can see it in your eyes that you, like I, am worried about Jamie Foxx. Who isn't? Who doesn't? You might remember last month he was hospitalized. Back on April 12th, as a matter of fact. He was hospitalized, and nobody knows why. To this moment, nobody knows why Jamie Foxx was hospitalized. And we've been kind of, respectfully staying away from the story because, the family is always saying, please respect our privacy. Well, his daughter, Corinne, has posted a health update. According to Corinne, Jamie's been out of the hospital and recuperating for weeks. She sent out a message on Twitter that said, "Update from the family. Sad to see how the media runs wild. My dad has been out of the hospital for weeks recuperating. In fact, he was playing pickleball yesterday. Thanks for everyone's prayers and support. We have an exciting work announcement coming next week, too." So there you go. There you go. I know everybody's been worried about him. I get it. I get it. Nobody knows what happened to him. Nobody knows why it happened to him. We just know that Jamie was in the hospital, and now he's playing pickleball. Don't understand it. Just don't understand it. Should we care? I don't know. It's Jamie Foxx. He's a national treasure. There's no Dolly Parton, but he's Jamie Foxx. Remember that. Speaking of treasures, Noreen saying the restorative powers of pickleball works miracles. Yes. Yes. And thou shalt play 15 love in pickleball. Simon Lee has popped in. Simon, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. I'm glad that you're here. Came in a little late, but that's okay because you, as always, you missed the greatest show in the history of the internet. Just saying. Treasures, you found your signed copy of Pet Sounds. I have a copy of Pet Sounds. It is not signed. Although I will say this, just real fast before we get into this last one. So there's a website that I go to every once in a while when I want to buy new vinyl, when I want to buy new albums. And one of the albums that I bought that I didn't have in my collection, and I've been looking for a long time, and I finally got it, was a copy, if you've ever heard the band Hartsfield. Country rock band from Chicago, big in the 70s, had a couple of hits. Their biggest being a hit called Music Eyes. And they did another one that it's called The Only Time I'm Sober Is When You're Gone. Two great songs from this one album. I went, okay, hey, I'll buy this album. How much? $5. $5 for a copy of Hartsfield? Bring it on. I'm good with that. I get this album a couple of days later from the website. It's signed. It's signed by one of the members of the band. And I don't know if anybody ever I don't know if anybody noticed this at all. But it's mine. I got it. You can bet that sucker is going on sale real soon. Or maybe I'll just wait until the band breaks up. Because they are still playing together. So yeah. Speaking of treasures. Speaking of things that have gone away. And this one's going to hit home to a lot of folks. Because this is where, when we were growing up, and even beyond that, a lot of us got a lot of our news when it came to music or whatever the case may be. But as of today, after 36 years, MTV News is no more. MTV News went dark today. MTV News was shuttered as part, and this is according to the Hollywood Reporter, they were shuttered this week as part of the larger layoffs at the parent company, Paramount Global. And like I said, this is a piece of music culture. This is a piece of social culture. In the late 80s, first off, MTV being who they were in the beginning, I see some blank eyes out there. You see, you have to understand, once upon a time, MTV was a revolutionary channel that did something completely out of the ordinary. They played music videos all day long. Yeah, they were that good. But they would stop once an hour, and you'd have, you'd have the people there, Kurt Loder and Tabitha Sorensen. They were a bona fide news outlet. And it was for the kids. And this is where you learned about some of the biggest events in your life. Okay, they were the ones that came out in 1994. They stopped all programming with the channel, and they were the ones that broke the news that Kurt Cobain had killed himself. That's how big MTV News was. Of course, there were other things as well. Thanks to MTV News, we found out if Bill Clinton wore boxers or briefs. Look that one up. You'll enjoy that. But yeah, they found out that just, Paramount was saying no. MTV, no, just not cutting it. Just not cutting it. They had town hall. They had all the town halls. They had town halls with Barack Obama, John McCain, Bill Gates. And of course, boxers and briefs. They talked about it. The entire time. They covered topics. I mean, they covered topics like sexual health, the war in Iraq, natural disasters. They were at the forefront of talking about AIDS when it wasn't cool to talk about AIDS, when AIDS broke back in, what was it, 84? Their correspondents won Emmys, they won Peabody Awards. Let's be clear, and actually, AmuCity brings this up in the chat too. He says, well, considering the last time they reported on music news was more than likely 2003, but I found a couple of months ago that Kurt Loder, seen here, was in his 40s during the MTV heyday. And today he's pushing 80, which is true. That is very true. MTV News was already significantly reduced in size back in 2017 because they wanted to take on outlets like BuzzFeed and Vice, but it just didn't work. At its peak, they were part of the culture, but now they're gone. They're absolutely gone. So hail and farewell to MTV News. I almost did this. I almost give you an idea of what my brain is like this week. I almost put that in the Deadpool report. Just to mess with people. But no, I won't do that. I won't do that. I wouldn't do that at all. I wouldn't do that. So, yeah. So that's going on. On top of that. And we got time for one more. Matt's asking, Loder gearing up for a presidential campaign? No, I don't know that Loder's loading up for a presidential campaign, but he does a lot of speaking. He does a lot of speaking engagements these days, talking about the days of MTV News and their effect on. He's at the right age for that. He's up there. He's up there. Not sure if he stutters or fighting off senility, but. Hey, who am I to say what's right or wrong? There's one more story that I've got. And again, it's one of those stories that probably wears a diaper. I don't want to know this. I'm not asking. I don't want to know these things. All right, let me ask you a question. And I'm going to put this real fast because we've got a few minutes to kill. Do you want to hear a story about Jojo Siwa? Now, if you don't know who Jojo Siwa is that perky little YouTube influencer. Started out as a dancer, singer, influencer, had a big hit single a few years ago with a track called Boomerang. And then on her 17th birthday, decided to tell everybody she was gay. I don't know why this fell into my lap before we went on the air. Colostomy bag hooked up to a super soaker. Oh, man. Wow. I love my audience. I swear to God, I do. Let let me help this subject real fast, because like I said, we've only got a couple minutes left. Do you want to hear a story about JoJo Siwa butt calling her dad while she's having sex? This is what this story is actually all about. And you see now why I saved it till the end. As it stands, our perky little yeah, Hammy Cities. What? Yeah, true. You got to remember that back last year, JoJo came out as being gay, and she's had a couple of girlfriends, and she is very, very vocal about her queerness. So, according to OK Magazine, JoJo revealed that she unfortunately called her dad while she was getting down with a girlfriend. This is a direct quote from JoJo on a recent podcast. It's my third night with this partner. Things are escalating. It's really fun. I'm happy. I'm having the time of my life. Cut to the next day. My dad comes up to me and he's like, "You guys had fun last night." My parents are very supportive and I have a lot of my dad and me. I'm very comfortable with my parents, but not that comfortable. He goes, "Oh, I heard, but we weren't loud. Our rooms are far apart. I can scream and you wouldn't hear me." So I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Last night you called me." According to this, her dad picked up the phone, but 5 seconds later said, "I realized you were having sex and I hung up the phone so fast." Why do we even admit this in public? Why do we even admit this? Matt's saying that's what I call a butt call. I'm here to tell you. Oh, my God. Co-host Maddie Weiner of the podcast couldn't help but giggle at the interesting scenario. He thinks you're in trouble. Get ready for this one. He thinks you're in trouble. He picks up the call, and she's like, "She's drowning. Oh, my God." To which JoJo replied, "Well, she kinda is." So now I have a rule that no matter what, phones are put to the side because I butt called my dad. Before anything happens, where's your phone? Because if things start heating up, we need to put them to the side. Oh, man. Oh, Lord. Why do these things fall into my inbox? That's what I want to know. And you said, "That sounds like a booty call." Hello! JoJo, God bless you. You've come out as queer. We love you for it, support you for it, but you don't need to tell us about that. TMI, JoJo, TMI. Oh, man. Oh, God. Don't forget, coming up right after this, Hugs 24/7 Radio. Cyrus Gray has got the top 10, the Hugs Top 10 Countdown, the top 10 unsigned independent artists from around the world, and that's followed by the Hugs Shockwave, all the new releases that are vying for the Hugs Top 200. Head over to Hugs 24/7 Radio, HUGSATWRGG.com, hugs at WRGG.com, and check that out. Yeah, and that's just about going to do it from here, I think. How do you top that? I blame this all on Chris. Chris, I blame this all on you. And Simon's watching, so yeah, I'm going to have to blame it on him too. Matt says thanks. For what, I have no idea. Certainly not this train wreck. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate you joining me. I really do. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notifications so you're on time for next week's show, okay? In the meantime, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, like, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. In other words, if you like it, hey, you know what to do. We'll see you next week. We are...